Did you know that India has decided to buy 4 new Heron TP drones from Israel, which will initially be used for surveillance and reconnaissance missions before being upgraded and armed with missiles for precision strikes as part of Project Cheetah? Continue watching the video till the very end to know more. The IAI-18 Steadfast Unmanned Reconnaissance Aircraft, also known as the Heron TP, made headlines last month when the Bundestag's Defense Committee approved the purchase of 140 of these armed drones for $165 million. The Heron TP's cutting-edge and advanced design reflects Germany's decision to source its first fleet of armed drones from Israel. The Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, or UAV, has a slew of useful capabilities, including enhanced intelligence gathering, surveillance, missile defense, and aerial refueling. The Heron TP, which is similar to Northrop Grumman's Global Hawk, provides high-altitude, long-endurance, or HAIL capabilities to Israel's Defense Forces, or IDF. This bigger and better armed drone has contributed to Israel's current status as a drone superpower. The Heron TP was developed by Israel Aerospace Industries' Malat division and first saw service in the Israeli Air Force in 2010. Soon after, Israel's 210 Squadron became the first unit to use the drone. The armed drone, on the other hand, has been around since 2004. The Israeli Air Force magazine announced the existence of the drone program at this time, reporting that 2 prototypes were already in the works. The 18 prototype was first shown to the public in 2007 at a media event at Tel Nof Air Base. The Heron TP is 13 meters long and has an all-composite airframe. It has a cutting-edge design. The drone's wingspan is 26 meters long, giving it an extremely high aspect ratio. As a medium-range, long-endurance UAV, the Heron TP can operate at altitudes of over 41,000 feet above commercial air traffic. It includes de-icing systems, all-weather capability, and automatic takeoff and landing, or ATOL systems. It can also fly for up to 40 hours straight and has a payload of 1,000 kilograms. The drone is propelled by a 12,000 HP Pratt & Whitney PT6A-67A turboprop engine, allowing it to reach speeds of up to 200 knots. The drone's triple redundancy in all avionics systems makes it a weapon in the arsenal of the Israel Air Force. Although the Heron TP was not adopted by the Israeli Air Force until 2010, the armed drone had previously been used by the IDF in combat missions. The Heron TP reportedly flew during Operation Cast-Lead in 2008, a 3-week battle in Gaza between Hamas militants and the IDF. The Heron TP's satellite data link and electro-optical infrared sensors supported the IDF during Operation Protective Edge in Gaza in 2014. "We always say we start the war 2 weeks before and finish 2 weeks later," said the former commander of Israel's 210 White Eagle 18 Squadron of combat drones. "We begin gathering intelligence before fighting begins, and then we gather intelligence afterward to assess the damage done to our enemy." The commander is referring to the real-time imagery and telemetry data collected by the Heron TP and sent to the ground control system. The Heron TP is still an important part of the Israel Air Force's growing drone fleet. The IDF benefits from its ability to stay in the air longer and gather more precise intelligence. If you've enjoyed watching so far, then do like the video and subscribe to our channel. India recently completed a deal with Israel to purchase 4 new Heron TP drones. According to defense sources, a contract has been signed and the drones should arrive by the end of the year. According to sources, while the initial plan was to lease the 4 drones from Israel, India ultimately decided to purchase them. When Project Cheetah is completed, the Army, Navy, and Indian Air Force, or IAF, inventory of medium-altitude long-endurance, or MALE, Heron TP UAVs will not only be upgraded with advanced satellite communication sensors for longer surveillance and reconnaissance missions, but will also be armed with air-to-ground missiles and laser-guided munitions for precision strikes. Some of the upgraded Heron TP UAVs will be able to loiter for nearly 24 hours and have a communication range of 1,000 kilometers. India is also looking to purchase 30 MQ-9B high-altitude long-endurance armed drones from the United States, 10 for each of the defense services, for a total cost of $3 billion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with Vivek Lal, CEO of General Atomics, which manufactures the armed Predator drones. According to sources, there'll be additional discussions with the US regarding the transfer of technology before the deal is finalized. Meanwhile, the Navy has already leased 2 General Atomics MQ-9B Sea Guardian drones for surveillance in the Indian Ocean. The developments come at a time when the Indian military is working to increase its drone inventory, with the three services acquiring various categories of unarmed drones with varying classifications as well as counter-drone systems. For example, the Army alone is purchasing hundreds of unarmed drones in various categories for surveillance purposes, the majority of which are manufactured by indigenous companies. Multiple micro and mini UAVs, including 200 swarm drones, are being procured domestically by two Indian firms, Rafi Amphibur and New Space Technologies. According to defense sources, the former is also providing logistics drones, which can ferry a 20-kilogram load for 10 kilometers one way to high-altitude areas. The Army also signed a contract to purchase over 100 Sky Striker explosives carrying drones from a Bengaluru-based joint venture between Israel's Elbit system and India's Alpha Design. The drones, also known as loitering munitions, can detect a target and explode there, as demonstrated by Azerbaijan's use of them against Armenia last year, leading to the latter's defeat over Nagorno-Karabakh. The Army has also signed a $20 million contract with IdeaForge to acquire Switch UAVs for high-altitude surveillance operations. According to defense sources, the Navy is also planning to purchase a dozen ship launch drones from an indigenous company, while the IAF is in the process of purchasing swarm drones. Over 500 drones have been purchased by the three services using only emergency procurement funds, a defense source said. Over 300 of these will be purchased by the Army alone. Different defense forces commands are also in the process of procuring micro-drones with local funds for limited surveillance missions. For example, the Army's Northern Command has issued a request for information for UAVs capable of surveillance. The Army is also purchasing 100-man portable counter-drone systems and an integrated drone detection and interdiction system from indigenous firms as part of its emergency procurements. DefC Solutions, based in Bengaluru, has provided the force with counter-drone systems. According to the Defense Ministry, the Navy has signed a contract with Bharat Electronics Limited, or BEL, to acquire an indigenous comprehensive naval anti-drone system, or NADS, with hard and soft kill capabilities. In addition, the IAF has placed a 155-core order with Hyderabad-based Zen Technologies for anti-drone systems. Where are Israeli drones in use? Israel's Armed Forces, Air Force of India, Federal Police of Brazil, and Turkey's Air Force. Precise numbers of Israeli UAVs are extremely difficult to obtain, as databases and reference publications that are typically most reliable on inventories, such as the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute's Military Balance and the International Institute of Strategic Studies Military Balance, do not contain solid figures. However, as one of the world's leading UAV users and manufacturers, as well as a country with a very high average operational tempo, it is reasonable to assume that Israeli is one of the Middle East's largest operators of armed UAVs. It was estimated in mid-2017 that Israel had accounted for more than 60% of international UAV exports over the previous 3 decades and had delivered 165 UAV units to foreign buyers during that time. All known exports were delivered unarmed. The vast majority of the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, UAV inventory is also unarmed, as their primary role in Israeli doctrine remains to provide real-time situational awareness to ground forces. Although it's official Israeli policy not to discuss armed UAV operations, the country does operate at least 3 types of armed UAVs that have been used to conduct regular strikes against suspected militant targets: the Heron TP, the Hermes 450, and the Hermes 900. Israel is also a leader in anti-drone technology. The Drone Dome, its radar-based system, can identify targets and use a laser to neutralize them from several kilometers away. In terms of proliferation, more than 50 countries are known to be using Israeli-made reconnaissance UAVs, though none are Middle Eastern and all are unarmed, with the exception of Turkey. Israel is not an official member of the MTCR, but has agreed to follow its principles and rules on its own, in much the same way that China has. However, Israel's interpretation of the provisions has not prevented global sales of unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, that could theoretically be armed and fit the MTCR's Category 1 or 2 range definitions. Despite this, non-Israeli munitions integration would be difficult, and the usable payload for Israeli UAVs is significantly lower than that of the larger US Predator, Reaper family, and China's Winglong and CH-5 offerings. And that's all for today's video. What do you think of Israel's drones? Let's know in the comments section below. Thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you should watch the video on the screen right now to learn more about the remote-controlled machine gun drone. See you again in the next video.